a very warm welcome to the evening that we have been long waiting for. I am Gitu Moza, and with me is my colleague Mihir Bhatt.
Thanks, Gitu. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me thank all of you to be part of this beautiful evening. This is undoubtedly the biggest financial markets gathering of this season, so let's have a huge round of applause for all of you. Thank you. Before we move on with the proceedings of the evening, let's move back in history. Zee Business instituted India's Best Market Analyst Awards in 2010. It was a first of its kind initiative, and it was dedicated to honor the wizards of India's capital markets.
As we all know, it has been a roller coaster ride for the markets the world over, and it was never more challenging than now to generate returns on investment, isn't it, Mihir?
Absolutely, Gitu. But as they say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And tonight, in tonight's awards, are a true recognition of people who have managed to weather the storm and emerge as true winners in Indian capital markets.
Before we move on, let's take a look at our journey so far.
Helping investors with insightful recommendations and analysis, enabling investment strategy and managing risk. Today's market analysts play a pivotal role in successfully navigating retail investors in the financial marketplace. He empowers them with winning stock picks and smart trading calls. He arms them with company and sectoral research. As the country's leading business channel serving the need of India's growing retail investors, Zee Business proudly presents India's Best Market Analyst Awards to salute the stars of the Indian financial markets, the universe, analysts working with stockbroking companies. Market analysts were shortlisted from all the nominations received to finally arrive at the top market analysts of the country, selected on the basis of overall returns achieved for the stocks or commodities or sectors or the companies they tracked, also on the basis of research work they submitted and then vetted by our eminent jury. Today is the day when we celebrate success and honor top market analysts who stand out from their peers. Welcome to Zee Business India's Best Market Analyst Awards, presented by NCDEX, connecting people and markets.
That's what Zee Business Market Analyst Awards is all about. And I'm happy to inform you that every year the awards have got bigger and we have got more and more participation every year. May I now please call on stage Sri R. Ramaseshan, MD NCDX, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm and hearty welcome to every one of you. It's indeed been a very beautiful evening today. The monsoon just breaking in, cooling the temperatures. And here we have the best gathering of the financial world, waiting to see who are the stars of the last 1 year. This is the third year that these awards have been instituted. The second consecutive year that NCDEX has been a part of this proud privilege to sponsor this program. The premier exchange that connects people and the markets, that connects the real economy to the financial economy, that makes a difference to the rural livelihood of people who produce commodities for you and me to have food at the end of the day. It's been a very proud privilege for us to be associated with this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thankful on behalf of myself, my exchange, the Zee Business, and the entire finance community for your presence and making this event a great success. Before we get on, just a couple of observations. The award tonight, represents a very interesting coming of age of the financial markets in the country, both equities as well as commodities. It recognizes talent. It recognizes the intense scrutiny that companies and assets face in the economy against which they have to perform. It casts a lot of responsibilities on companies, on analysts who really bring out what is good, what is bad, what is ugly in front of the whole world. We are recognizing these stars. They perform a very great duty, and a great clap for all these people who have contributed to this and sent their nominations to. Cheers to all of them. And more importantly, as they bring scrutiny on the assets as well as the companies, a great responsibility rests on them. The responsibility to separate the good from the bad, to tell the world, to tell the country, to tell the economy that this is what all is it about. Honesty, integrity, as well as pointing out what lies in store for them. We in the financial markets rely upon this talent, we rely upon these people to bring out what is good and what is out for all of us. A very hearty welcome again to all of you, and MCDEX proudly associates itself with this initiative and hopes that this will grow bigger and bigger to recognize the talent in this sector. A great evening to all of you gentlemen and ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramashishan, for your inspirational words. Thank you very much. The last 18 months have been tough for the markets with reasons both external and internal.
That's right, Gitu, but we must not forget that it's been a volatile market the world over. And we proudly remain one of the fastest growing economy. In fact, we remain the second fastest growing economy in the world. But at the same time, we must not forget that the road ahead is tough. Let us get an insight from the business brains here with us this evening and try and understand what's in store for the economy, what's in store for the markets, and what efforts it will take for us to break this deadlock and try and at least inch back towards double-digit growth.
For moderating this high-powered discussion, may I now call on stage our commodities editor, Mr. Amish Devgan. May I please invite on stage Shri Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Sir, please. Mr. Ridham Thethrai. Mr. Madhusudan Kela. Shri Ramesh Damani. Srimati Preeti Gupta. And Shri Vijay Sardana.
Let's give them a huge round of applause. And I'm sure that this discussion is going to be very interesting. But before we start with the discussion, we'll go for a short break. And when we come back, we'll hear what all these esteemed panelists have to say about the year ahead. We are coming back after a short break.
वेलकम बैक. थैंक्स मीर एंड गीतू. निश्चित तौर पर पिछले कुछ समय के अंदर जो फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स के अंदर हुआ है बहुत ज़्यादा बेहतर तो नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन आने वाले समय कैसा रहेगा, व्हाट विल बी द फ्यूचर ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स ऑफ इंडिया, इस पर आज हम बात करेंगे. हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए इस पे आज इस पैनल पे कई बड़े नाम मौजूद हैं. हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं श्री राकेश झुंझुनवाला, फाउंडर रारे इंटरप्राइजेस, मिस्टर रिदम देसाई, कंट्री हेड मॉर्गन स्टैनले. हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं मधुसूदन केला, चीफ इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रैटेजिस्ट रिलायंस कैपिटल. हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं रमेश दमानी साहब, मेंबर BSc. हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं कमोडिटीज सेक्टर पे बात करने के लिए खासतौर पर विजय सरदाना, चीफ ऑपरेटिंग ऑफिसर JP एग्री, और हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं डायरेक्टर आनंदाठी प्रीति गुप्ता. तो इन एक्सपर्ट से हम जानेंगे कि आखिरकार फाइनेंशियल मार्केट का भविष्य क्या होगा, व्हाट विल बी द फ्यूचर ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स. सबसे पहले झुंझुनवाला साहब, शुरुआत आपसे करते हैं. पहला सवाल, भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था बेहतर नहीं कर रही है. इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज नॉट डूइंग सो वेल. रीजंस आर वेल नोन टू अस. क्या आपको लगता है इक्विटी मार्केट इस समय जो परफॉर्म नहीं कर रही हैं, व्हाट्स द वे आउट?
Well, let me start by saying they don't worry the future of financial markets of India and its financial markets is good, despite all the doom and boom. It may not be good for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, but over a period of time, it's always good. Believe in India. I personally feel that, the kind of depression and the kind of, I would hate for stocks, and I go to a lot of cocktail parties and nobody wants to discuss any stocks with me. And if I start the topic of stocks, लोग खाली मुंह फेर लेते हैं और सबकी बात यही है कि डॉलर 70 ना 65, आप 58 भी बोल दो तो बहुत अरे आपको कुछ मालूम नहीं है. So I think the pessimism is at its height. I for one feel that in the next 2-3 months, if commodity prices remain where they are or they decline further, and if we have a reasonably good monsoon, I see a good upsurge in the market. Because I think inflation will fall off the cliff according to me. I'm no economist. मुझे लगता है 3-4 महीने में commodity prices don't go upward, you'll have 5 to 6% inflation. Interest rates will reduce aggressively. और मुझे लगता है ठीक है गवर्नमेंट है कुछ तो शर्म आएगी कुछ तो करेंगे. How bad can it get? So I feel government will also do something. Dr. Manmohan Singh will also wonder that he has to leave some legacy to this country which someone will remember.
So, I'll take reaction from Madhu Kela. Madhu Kela, your view on this? क्योंकि बड़ा important है current scenario, क्योंकि इस समय अर्थव्यवस्था की हालत हम जानते हैं, भारतीय निवेशक की कंडीशन को हम पहचानते हैं, इन्फ्लेशन ऊपर है, मॉनसून मेट विभाग कहता है बेहतर है, लेकिन उस पर कई क्वेश्चन मार्क्स हैं, तो कैसा देखते हैं भविष्य आप? What's your view?
See, one clue from Rakesh Bhaiya's point is that हालत खराब है ये सबको पता है, पर ये कितना भाव में रिफ्लेक्टेड है, that is what we are worried about as far as markets are concerned. और ये factors कितने नए हैं, मतलब is it a new factor that inflation is high, GDP growth rate is low, interest rates are high in this country? None of these are new factors.
Yeah.
And I think the unanimous pessimism for equity, I have not seen in my career. We have seen periods of 2002-03 also. Today, absolutely, we have seen huge withdrawals from mutual fund in the last 2-3 years. Very minimal money come even to insurance companies. So domestic investor, on a contrary, we talk to people, everyone wants to buy only gold and property. मैं बोलता हूँ इंडिया का स्टोरी खत्म हो गया तो 1,20,000 रुपए पर स्क्वायर फुट में बम्बई में रियल एस्टेट कैसे दिख सकता है? So I think the pessimism actually is cornered only towards equity.
You think sentiment is not good?
Sentiment is good, bad. That's a broad point. And any good news. Now, take for instance Greece. Even my driver is worried about Greece. क्या होएगा? अभी सबने तो नेगेटिव धार लिया है, पर कल अगर कुछ पॉजिटिव हो गया तो I don't think anyone is really prepared for any positive news.
And for this, don't you think कि political और economic, क्योंकि हमेशा मैं बोलता हूँ एक बात कि राजनीति और अर्थनीति को एक गाड़ी के दो पहिए हैं जिनको साथ में चलना पड़ता है. Don't you think so?
नहीं, चलेगा ना दोस्तों. अभी भी मैं बोलता हूँ सब पॉलिसी के बाद भी अभी भी 6.5-7% ग्रोथ रेट है ना. I think we have been slow, but the fact of the matter is we have seen in India last 20 years whenever the crisis will hit, decisions will happen. 7.5 रुपए पेट्रोल का भाव बढ़ गया, क्या डिसीजन मेकिंग नहीं है, और थोड़ा क्राइसिस हिट होएगा तो डिसीजन मेकिंग विल स्टार्ट.
Okay, that's the point. Rhythm Desai, your take on this because it's very important.
See, मेरा व्यू ऐसा बैठता है कि मैक्रो तो खराब है, जैसे आपने बोला कि अर्निंग्स का सिचुएशन उतना अच्छा नहीं है, बट स्टॉक मार्केट में पैसा तब बनता है व्हेन द वैल्यूएशंस आर चीप. आप देख लो 2007 में मैक्रो वाज एक्सीलेंट, वी वर नियरिंग 10% ग्रोथ, अर्निंग्स वर अप 30%, लेकिन अगर आप एक साल आगे देखो वहाँ से तो आपके पैसे नहीं बने बिकॉज स्टॉक्स वर ट्रेडिंग एट 30 times अर्निंग्स. सो टुडे स्टॉक्स आर ट्रेडिंग एट 10-12 times अर्निंग्स. इंडेक्स निफ्टी, अगर आप इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक्स देखो तो बहुत सारे ऐसे जो 5 times 4 times अर्निंग्स हो गए, तो वहाँ से ही पैसा बनता है. अगर आप हिस्ट्री देख लो तो 10 to 12 times से जो पैसा बना है ऑन अ फॉरवर्ड 1 year 2 year बेसिस आपको 40-50% रिटर्न मिल जाता है और उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत हाई है. So I would focus on the fact that we know, which is that valuations are cheap. When the macro,
do you think this is a good time to invest in markets?
I think it's a very good time to build portfolios. Investors should have a 1 to 2 year view. They should not have a 2 to 3 month view. If things turn around in 3-4 months, very good. If they don't, they should not lose patience. Today is the time to have patience and build a portfolio for a 1 to 2 year perspective. Equities में long term में पैसा बनता है. In the short run, only speculators make and lose money, and usually they lose money. So that is not the way to approach equities.
That's your point. प्रीति गुप्ता, हमने देखा है कि स्टॉक मार्केट ने उतना बेहतर परफॉर्म नहीं करा, एंड स्पेशली कमोडिटी मार्केट्स हैव गिवन गुड रिटर्न, स्पेशली बुलियंस. व्हाट्स योर टेक?
लकीली अमिश कमोडिटी मार्केट्स में क्योंकि वेरियस सेक्टर्स हैं और सेक्टर्स आपस में बिल्कुल रिलेटेड नहीं है, तो सेफ हेवन जो एसेट्स है वो शायद अभी भी मेरा मानना है कि एटलीस्ट अक्टूबर नवंबर तक वी आर स्टिल बुलिश. गोल्ड सिल्वर ये अभी भी बहुत अच्छा करेंगे. गोल्ड पर्टिकुलरली वी आर लुकिंग.
कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि लोग अब सोना बेच रहे हैं, डॉलर खरीद रहे हैं. व्हाट्स योर टेक?
हाँ, वो थोड़े समय वो चमक डॉलर में ज़रूर आ गई थी सोने की, लेकिन हमारा मानना है
वापस सोना चमकेगा.
जी बिल्कुल. अभी जो अक्टूबर तक हम मानते हैं कि ये वापस इन्वेस्टमेंट गोल्ड में आएगा, स्पेशली ये जो ग्रीस का जो क्राइसिस चल रहा है. और सेकेंडली अगर QE3 ईजिंग आई तो जैसे हमने देखा है कि गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज़, US गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज़ आज लोएस्ट यील्ड पे हैं, तो काफ़ी पैसा सोने में आएगा. हालांकि इस समय हम अगर रुपी टर्म में कन्वर्ट करेंगे उसको, तो रुपीज़ में क्योंकि डॉलर स्ट्रॉन्गर रहेगा तो रुपीज़ में हमको रिटर्न बेटर मिलेगा. पर अक्टूबर के बाद क्योंकि रुपी हम मानते हैं कि स्ट्रॉन्गर होगा, तो फिर उसके बाद थोड़ा एक बार वापस रिव्यू करना चाहिए.
और ये भी बात सोचने वाले कि सोने को तो गॉड जोन करेंसी भी कहा जाता है. दमानी साहब, करंट सिनेरियो इकोनॉमी का हम देख रहे हैं कैसा है. ऐसे में हमने देखा है कि कमोडिटीज स्पेशली बुलियन सेक्टर परफॉर्म्स वेल, एंड और करंट सिनेरियो के अंदर डॉलर जिस तरह से बढ़ रहा है और रुपी जिस तरह से डिप्रिशिएट हो रहा है, डू यू थिंक इट्स अ मेजर कॉज ऑफ वरी or a temporary phase?
I think the rupee is a major cause of worry, but you can see sunlight at the end of the tunnel because oil prices are going down, our gold imports are coming down, so the current account deficit could turn much better in the next 3 months or time. So rupee at 56, 57 may have made a bottom, could rally back to 52, 53. So I'm hopeful. I think equity markets also में बहुत बारिश आ रही थी, लेकिन सूरज की किरणें नजर आ रही है. I think good times are just ahead.
आपने क्रूड की बात करी, क्योंकि क्रूड इसलिए नीचे आ रहा है क्योंकि अमेरिका में राष्ट्रपति चुनाव है और बराक ओबामा साहब चाहते हैं कि हर हाल में क्रूड 85 से नीचे रहे, और वो एक बड़ा फंडामेंटल रीज़न है जिसकी वजह से क्रूड में हमें प्रेशर देखने को मिल रहा है. क्या ये कहना सही होगा राकेश भाई, क्या ये कहना सही होगा, क्या वर्ल्ड इकॉनमी इस समय जो परफॉर्म नहीं कर रही है, दिस इज राइट टू से दैट रिसेशन हैज अराइव्ड?
Well, do you have any doubt about it?
I'm asking your comment.
Well, I can't comment on facts here. There is recession in Europe. America is on steroids. Despite, technically America is not in a recession, but with 10%
where we are, where is India?
India is not in a recession at all. It's good even if you feel it's in a recession. In 5.5-6% growth, we feel recessionary. It's good, no? The world feels very good at 5.5-6% growth.
But IIP number coming down, GDP going down. Madhusudan Kela?
But history हो गया though. So that what all of us are trying to say is that ये number history के हैं. We are here to discuss what will happen over the next 12 months. And how much of this history is reflected in stock prices.
Do you think these numbers will increase next 5-6 months?
I'm sure these numbers will increase. And
how?
Mind you, there is no direct correlation between the GDP growth rate and stock markets.
How numbers will increase? IIP numbers, GDP number, how they will increase?
Because of whatever was had to happen, you had the inflation at the peak, you had crude oil prices at $130, you had gold imports at the peak high, you had absolute bad sentiment in India. In due course of time, as the base effect will start to build in, over the next 6 to 12 months, it will start to look better.
Do you think policy making will change?
You see, I think we should not worry much about that. It is speculative to second guess policy, but I think Madhu made an interesting comment that we got a petrol price hike. So indications are that there is desire to do things, and maybe we will get that. If that happens, then you will make even more money, I think, along the way, because valuations are cheap. So I wouldn't worry so much about policy making, but I would say that policy makers' backs are to the wall. We should get more action from the central bank as well as from Delhi. So that's quite possible.
Okay.
I'll just like to add here.
Yeah.
If supposing your valuation is at 20 times or 18 times, and if these were the state of the economy, then you had much to worry about.
Okay.
At 11, 12 times, most of it is there reflected in the stock price.
Okay. Damani sir, what's your view on Greece crisis? Do you think it will go out of Eurozone?
It's not imminent. I think लोग बोल रहे हैं कि मंडे को ही, जैसे बोले मैं ड्राइवर भी पूछने लग गया कि ग्रीस में क्या होने वाला है. Greece is economy of 250 billion, $300 billion in size. It's maybe 1% of the European economy, okay? So even if it goes bust, it's not the earth will not fall down, break out. People will have breakfast in the morning in Greece, the world will go on. The bigger problem, of course, is Spain and Italy, what happens out there. So I think the market has pretty much factored in that Greece, and then it'll move on. I don't think Greece will leave the union tomorrow. I don't think Greece default also will be disastrous. It's priced into the market.
Okay, let me go to Vijay Sadhana now. He's waiting for a long time. Vijay Sadhana, your view on, because you're from Delhi and you have seen policy making very closely. If FDI is done, do you think every problem will be solved? That's my question mark in terms of policy.
If FDI is done.
FDI and multi-brand.
See, ultimately you need currency, whether it is in dollar or in rupee. You need money to mobilize things. If FDI comes, it will also bring management skills, it will also bring some technological developments, it will also bring some new concepts. What we are finding today in economy is that we have tried various formulations, even in policy making. Things are not moving the way we want it. Hopefully, if FDI comes, new set of management skills will enter, people will push, domestic industry will feel somewhere there is a competition pressure, they will try to bring their best out. I think when there is a turbulence in the system, and if external factors comes in, it's a nature's policy. If you see that, immunity system starts building. So things will improve, definitely. People will start gearing up because they have to face the competition. Local industry will become more efficient because ultimately they have to survive in the market. Market will never operate in vacuum. Somebody will fill that gap, whether it is FDI or domestic industry or domestic production or imports. It doesn't matter. And today if you see deficit, it is because somewhere that domestic consumers are liking imported stuff more than what is produced domestically. And one of the reason is food and fuel. Unless we tackle food and fuel requirements of India, nothing else will.
That's very important. Madhusudan Kela, I'll come to you. Do you think, because in today's world, economists are using this word quite frequently, policy paralysis, your views on that?
So I think we have to accept that there has been a lack of policy making, and the push and the force of policy making has been very, very slow in the last 2-3 years. So to that extent, I agree, whether it is a paralysis or slow moving this thing. But the fact is that, you know, in India, we are always used to this system. What happened? When was the biggest liberalization happened in India? In 1991, when we literally pledged our gold. I hope we are not going to wait till that time this year. And I think what indications which we are reading in between the line, that you increase the petrol price by 7.5 rupees and you don't roll it back immediately by 5 rupees, that itself is a good indication. You asked about multi-brand. See, it is not about one step. It is about the indication that we are willing to move forward. Market is waiting for that.
Okay, your view on this, Ramesh?
On the reforms?
Reforms and FDI, both.
We've been stuck. And FDI, we need capital. This country is starved for capital. So the airline industry is folding down. The telecom industry is in trouble. So unless we allow FDI, we're not going to get back to growth of 8%, 10%. And it's a moral imperative. 300 crore people, we want to get out into the 30 crore people. We want to get in the middle class. We cannot do that unless we get 8-9% GDP growth. So that's the important thing, yes.
Okay, राकेश भाई, क्या आपको लगता है कि क्योंकि हमने टेलीकॉम के अंदर एक बहुत बड़ा डिबैकल देखा है, एक बैक सीट ले ली है टेलीकॉम ने आफ्टर 2G डिबैकल, व्हाट्स योर व्यू ऑन टेलीकॉम सेक्टर इफ यू वांट टू गिव?
I've never invested, don't intend investing, so I don't waste my time on it.
Okay, Ridhan Desai?
On telecoms?
Yeah.
No, I think, see, on the market as a whole, this has to be a stock picking approach. I don't think you can just say buy this sector, sell this sector.
Okay.
I think it's a market where there are a lot of idiosyncratic differences. So stocks का आप देखो correlations बहुत high है, valuation dispersion बहुत high है. So it's an ideal market for stock picking. So I don't think this is...
According to you, which stocks will perform?
No, I don't want to comment on individual stocks, but I think what you need to do is approach companies which have good growth, good balance sheets, and reasonable valuations. And that's been the traditional way of making money, and I don't think that will fail investors in the future either. So, you know, it's a reasonable way to approach things.
We always talk about growth, and विद ग्रोथ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण चीज़ है. आपको लगता है कि भारत की ग्रोथ के लिए करंट जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है दैट इज़ बेटर?
Sorry, come again.
My question is this, कि do you think infrastructure sector has a huge opportunity?
Yeah, it has a huge opportunity. There is no doubt. I think various numbers are being thrown that over $1 trillion, our Prime Minister himself said that over $1 trillion investment is required over the next 5 years to build infrastructure in this country. So the need is undisputed. The question is, who will benefit out of this need? Are the companies which are absolutely debt-ridden and huge debt-equity ratio and have no flexibility and eroded capital, or there are well-managed companies which have been careful in the last 3-4 years? So I think what happened in IT sector, you saw in year 2000, there were 400 companies listed. 10 years down the line, IT sector is doing well, but there are only 15 of them who are participating. That's what happened in year 2006-07, that there are 400 companies in real estate and infrastructure sector. Maybe 10 or 15 will survive through 13-14, and they will do well.
Okay, what's your take on, Ramesh Damani, on inflation? Do you think current scenario inflation is a major cause of worry?
It's a huge cause of worry. Obviously, the cost of living has gone up. But again, it depends if commodity prices break. Jaise lag raha hai ki commodity prices are going to come down. India is a net importer of commodities. I think there will be huge benefit to India if commodity prices come down. Particularly, I think you will see oil prices go down. Gas is now awash in the world, and that changes the country's balance sheet. So my sense is, yes, inflation will come down over a period of time. Of course, the government needs to address supply side. It's not just a monetary phenomenon. Interest rates aapne बढ़ा दिया, inflation कम हो जाएगा.
Rhythm, what needs to be done to improve sentiment?
So I think 2-3 things. We definitely need more infrastructure spending. So I think a few infrastructure projects, if they are kick-started, it will help. It will also lift growth rate. So aapne, earlier you had asked Madhu, what will take the growth rate higher? So I think one of the things that could do that is infrastructure spending agar upar gaya to. And I'm seeing signs. When I interact with the bureaucracy in Delhi, I think there is a urge to actually push through some infrastructure projects. Second is कि GST पे थोड़ा progress होना चाहिए. I think it's a very crucial tax law change. अगर GST next year आ गया, तो I think the upside that comes to the economy from that is not fully understood. So वहीं से आपको 50 basis point growth मिल सकता है GST से. So GST एक pursue करना चाहिए. I think these are the two most important things from a policy perspective. बाकी आपने FDI वगैरह, those are icing on the cake. हुआ नहीं हुआ, I don't think it will make a material difference in the next 12-24 months. 5-6 साल की बात अलग है. वहाँ से तो obviously you want to make more progress. But these are the two most important things that can change things around.
Madhusudan Kela, right time to get GST?
Yeah, brilliant time. We are already late.
Okay, let's move ahead. Vijay Sudhana, भारत की जो अर्थव्यवस्था है और भारत की जो पॉपुलेशन है 60% से ज़्यादा कृषि पे निर्भर करती है. Do you think improvement in agriculture means improvement in India? What's your take on that?
देखिए, दो फैक्टर इस देश को अगर हमें इकोनॉमी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखने हैं, दो चीज़ें इस देश को हमेशा तंग कर रही हैं. एक है महंगाई और दूसरा है आपका करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट. महंगाई का आप सीधा सीधा आंकड़ा ये देख लीजिए कि पर कैपिटा फूड अवेलेबिलिटी इस कंट्री में क्या है. आप पिछले 10 साल का आंकड़ा उठा लीजिए, हर साल पर कैपिटा फूड अवेलेबिलिटी इस देश में कम हो रही है. जैसे जैसे फूड अवेलेबिलिटी कम होगी, इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ता रहेगा. कम खाने के लिए ज़्यादा लोग हैं. 1.5 करोड़ की आबादी हर साल इस देश में बढ़ रही है. उसको भी खाना है. कितने लोग BPL में जुड़ रहे हैं, कितने APL में जुड़ रहे हैं, कितना एफ्लुएंट क्लास में जुड़ रहे हैं, ये अलग डिबेट है. लेकिन जब तक पर कैपिटा फूड अवेलेबिलिटी हम रेस्पेक्टेबल लेवल पे नहीं लाएंगे, इन्फ्लेशन आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. दूसरी बात पॉवर्टी की, जब तक आप एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्टिविटी को पैरामीटर नहीं बनाएंगे. हम पॉवर्टी की बात करते हैं लेकिन वी डोंट डिस्कस व्हाई देयर इज ए पॉवर्टी इन विलेजेस और व्हाई पीपल आर पुअर. बिकॉज इनपुट कॉस्ट इज मोर देन द आउटपुट रियलाइजेशन. प्रोडक्टिविटी ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड पर कैपिटा फूड अवेलेबिलिटी, अगर हम ये दो पैरामीटर इंडियन इकोनॉमी में ध्यान में रखें तो आपकी 90% प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएंगे.
Preeti, what's your take on this?
Well, I think here the commodity markets play a very important role. आज हम जैसे inefficiency, आज inflation की भी बात करें तो अगर आपने देखा होगा कि इतना excess wheat पे हम बैठे हैं, वो wheat आज हम export करना चाहते हैं subsidies पे. तो इनएफिशिएंसीज है मार्केट में, इसमें कमोडिटी मार्केट्स का बहुत बड़ा रोल हो सकता है ये रिमूव करने के लिए, और हमें इसे पॉलिसी पैरालिसिस, आपने कहा हम कमोडिटी फ्यूचर्स में पिछले 8-9 साल से पॉलिसी पैरालिसिस देख रहे हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि ये एक्ट आए ताकि इसमें मार्केट्स यूटिलाइज हो, फार्मर्स तक पहुँचे, ये इनएफिशिएंसीज रिमूव हो। आज हम जैसे बहुत बातें होती है इन्फ्लेशन का, काफ़ी कमोडिटी मार्केट्स पे ब्लेम किया जाता है, लेकिन आज अगर रोड पे एक्सीडेंट हो जाए तो हम थोड़ी रोड पे ड्राइव करना बंद कर देते हैं। हमें राइट रेगुलेशंस चाहिए, पॉलिसी चाहिए। आज हम एंटीक्वेटेड एक 60 साल पुराने लॉ के हिसाब से ये कमोडिटी मार्केट्स चला रहे हैं। तो मेरा ये मानना है कि यहाँ पे बहुत अगर ध्यान दिया जाए तो ये इनएफिशिएंसीज रिमूव होंगी मार्केट की, और कमोडिटी स्पेस में जो फूड स्पेस है पर्टिकुलरली उसमें काफ़ी फ़ायदा मिलेगा।
ओके, मधुसूदन केला, your view on this gap between difference between retail and wholesale prices is big. Do you think if that part is solved, हमको तब महंगाई थोड़ी कम आती हुई दिखेगी?
Yeah, of course, and which is why the people who argue that we need huge investment in multi-brand retail so that we can build the back-end infrastructure, and that will reduce the gap. That is a very basic for that argument.
And for that, warehousing needs to be improved?
Of course. Of course, warehousing needs to be improved, cold storage facilities needs to be improved, the back-end infrastructure needs to be built.
राकेश भाई, क्या हम करंट जो इकोनॉमिक सिनेरियो है, जो करंट कंडीशन है, क्या उसको 1991 से कंपेयर कर सकते हैं? क्या कहते हैं आप इसमें?
I don't think we are nowhere near 91, but if we don't do anything in 3-4 years, we may reach there.
Okay.
And we don't know whether they'll do something or not.
दमानी साहब,
This is a far more confident country. जो 91 में अपने वो self doubt था, insecurity थी, it's all gone. I think this country is extraordinarily talented. The moment we release the economy, we build so many billion-dollar companies. So I don't think we are near that. If we keep doing policy inaction, we are going to suffer 4-5% growth, which of course will be detrimental to the country. So the key is to get back on 8-9% GDP growth.
Rhythm Desai, your take on this? That's very important.
नहीं, 91 नहीं है ये. 91 में सिचुएशन काफ़ी अलग थी. फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स काफ़ी कम थे. अपने इंपोर्ट्स 4-5 हफ्ते इंपोर्ट्स बाकी थे फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स. So this is not 91. This is more like 2002. We had a investment cycle that is stalled. Growth rate had become 4-5%. Stock markets had become very bad. So this looks more like 2002-2003, not like 91.
थैंक यू सो मच. आप तमाम लोगों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. विजय सदाना, प्रीति गुप्ता, रिदम, रमेश दमानी साहब, मधुसूदन केला साहब, राकेश भाई, आप तमाम लोगों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. फिलहाल इस स्पेशल चर्चा में इतना ही. आप देखते रहिए जी बिजनेस.
Thank you, Amish. Thanks all of you. That was indeed a very enlightening discussion, and I hope all of us have gained some wisdom and some visibility about how the coming years look as far as Indian economy is concerned and Indian markets are concerned. But Gitu, as we have seen, there is a saying in stock markets that trend is best friend, and currently, as far as opinions are concerned, I don't remember in past few years when we have seen so much of negativity, so much of bearishness, and suddenly if you look at the Q4 numbers that we have had, it seems that once again Indian economy, Indian markets, and even the Indian corporate performance, it might bottom out together.
Very true, Mihir. I believe that because India is a country which is still shining, and we have good growth prospects, and we are sure that we're going to sail through these rough weathers and come out and shining like every year we do.
Let's hope so. And soon we are going to have our chief guest of the evening also between us. But before he arrives and before we meet him, it's time for a short commercial break. We'll come back after a very quick commercial break.
And it's a great honor to go through some young analysts' work and see the kind of reports they're doing. We covered a multitude of sector. The only disappointment in the evening was that we finally came to a category called the Multi-Bagger Awards, and the market has been so flat, we couldn't find a choice for the multi-bagger awards, as Mihir knows. So that was the only disappointing part of it. But otherwise, we went through many, many sectors, and I think we got a lot of young, fresh faces who've actually done very well this time. So it's a great source of inspiration, I think, for the community itself. And I hope you'll enjoy these awards because they represent a lot of hard work and sweat by some very fine financial minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Damani. I would now like to invite Shri Gultek Chandani to come on stage and share his views with us. Please, sir.
Good evening to all of you. I think this was a very novel thing which Z thought of, and I would congratulate them. And I think the only awards for the analyst I would expect have been done for the last 4 years, if I'm right, and have been associated with them. Actually, we also learn through that. Probably we don't do as much hard work as probably the other people do these days, and we get to see a lot of reports. And there are various methods. This time we have even gone up to refine the method further, thanks to the other jurists who were there with me on the panel. And we have done some inputs to identify how to kind of, the work has been done. And obviously, as Ramesh said, we tried hard to find multi-baggers, who has got. And some of them had missed. The only multi-bagger in the last 1 year, which was, I think, Wokhart Pharma. And none of them had that. So just bad luck. I think hopefully next year with the market is looking now. And the way things stand, I think we'll have a good situation in the stock market as well going forward. So next year we'll see some more multi-bagger awards, I hope. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure doing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And I'm told the wait is about to get over. So, I am happy to inform you that the wait is over. We have with us the person who is undoubtedly India's best finance minister ever, and with God's grace, soon he is going to be India's best president ever. Please welcome, a very warm welcome to Shri Pranab Mukherjee.
Let's all give a standing ovation to our chief guest, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee.
I think we can have one more round of applause, please. Thank you. Thanks for coming, sir. And you brought rains also to Mumbai, which is a good news for all of us. Along with Shri Pranab Mukherjee, we also have our group chairman, Shri Subhash Chandra, with us. Please give him a huge round of applause, and I would like to invite Shri Subhash Chandra on stage to share his views with us. Please, sir. And I would also like to invite Shri Pranab Mukherjee on stage. Give them a huge round of applause, please. I will now invite Shri Subhash Chandra to share his views with us, and after that, I will invite Shri Pranab Mukherjee to share his keynote address with her. Sir.
Good evening, everybody. I'm at a juncture today. I don't know how to address you, sir. Of course, we all know you are the Honorable Finance Minister, but since this morning you are also officiating as Prime Minister of this country. And soon, and hopefully tonight before we all go to sleep, we would hear that you have been elected unopposed the Honorable President of this country. And all the doyens of the capital market, in fact, I would say that the captains of the growth engine, the banking community, dear friends. Sir, you must be coming to us, our function, despite keeping some bitterness in the mind, because we as media people, we flow with the sentiments in the marketplace. We do pick up more negative things of your work than your positive things. But we do play sometimes the positive roles also, when we are told. But I must tell you, sir, that Z Network is currently in 168 countries being actively distributed. And when I keep going, and these days the MD of the company, Z Entertainment Enterprise, has given me the assignment to look after the international business. So whenever I go, anywhere I go, I must tell you, sir, that India is still very sought after destination by the investors. I think some of our colleagues and analysts sitting here sometimes become a little more negative. We follow them, and then the sentiments become like that. But I think you have never in your life, because you have seen all these things in many, many times, and you have stood fast in the whole thing. And India will march ahead, though we will miss your skills of monitoring, maneuvering the financial system in a positive direction. But I'm sure sitting at Raisina Hills, we will still have your guidance and your basic eye on the whole country's economy and the growth. With that, once again, welcome, sir, and thank you very much, everybody joining this evening. Thank you.
Sir, thanks a lot for your inspirational words. Thank you so much. I now invite Mr. Pranab Mukherjee to make a keynote address. Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, please.
Sir, please.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here to address this distinguished gathering of investment gurus and analysts who guide the retail investors of this country. I understand this financial markets conclave is aimed at bringing together the best financial brains of India under one roof to discuss key issues pertaining to Indian business and markets. It also recognizes the contribution made by the best Indian market analysts in spreading financial literacy and empowering the Indian retail investors. I am thankful to G Business for inviting me to participate in this event. The most important challenge before the country today is to regain and then sustain a growth rate of 8 to 9% per annum. And at the same time, to maintain the basic parameters of healthy development, moderate rate of inflation, fiscal consolidation, narrow current account deficit, and obviously higher growth in exports. We need to intensify our efforts to channelize the domestic savings into investments. This requires, among other things, aggressive and efficient financial intermediation. For that, we need able and agile captains who can steer the ship of the finance through the storms and headwinds to safe and stable shores. At the same time, we need analysts and advisors who can assuage the fears of the saving community and guide them through various investment options while helping them minimize their risks and withstand uncertainties. The quantum of import of gold and investment of the surplus, those who have, in gold is a clear indication that amongst a large section of the community who can make investment as they have investment surplus, they want to investment in dead asset only with the expectations that the value would appreciate. Last year, the quantum of gold import was substantial, and it was around 60 to 62 billion US dollars. Therefore, my request to this distinguished gathering, and particularly the financial analysts and other experts and leaders in this field, to ensure that we can create confidence in the market, spread financial literacy, and the merit of investment could be widely spread. The recent international experience has highlighted the importance of proper market research and analysis in the financial sector for the overall stability and prosperity of the global economy. As the financial crisis of 2007-8 unfolded, policymakers and business leaders were worried not just over the lack of liquidity or credit, but also on the need of the visionaries and innovative financial leaders and analysts who could pinpoint the issues, see ahead, and facilitate in the implementation of the required correctiveness. It goes without saying that we cannot solve what we cannot understand, and we cannot understand what we do not analyze. At the same time, we have to recognize that despite the unsettling and even dramatic recent global experience with cutting-edge finance, without a renewed effort to foster financial innovation in the global economy, all countries, including emerging market economies like India, will perform below their potential. Financial analysts and innovations are vital to guide companies through difficult times. A financial analyst has to consider what is prudent and appropriate from multiple aspects, including from a macroeconomic perspective. The main challenge is to strike a balance between growth-enhancing innovation for the individual institutions while carrying out necessary due diligence to limit the systematic risks and instability. The role of market analysts and innovation in India is relevant for deepening of the markets and for furthering the objective of the financial inclusion. As the per capita income rises, the demand for diversified financial products and services will expand. The huge financial needs of the infrastructure development also call for genuine solutions. At the same time, in the absence of financial literacy, the growing range and complexity of the products makes it difficult for an ordinary person to take informed decisions. Financial literacy develops confidence and skills to manage financial products and services, thereby enabling a better management of the resources. The market analysts and advisors have a crucial role in spreading the financial literacy in this country, just as they do have in generating innovative financial solutions for the firms. We need investor awareness to help bring about financial inclusions and to deepen and broad base our markets for improved resilience to external shocks. Moreover, it is also with our vision of development, financial capability, ability to seek out information and advice, and use it to a personal situation is vital in today's changing financial environment. In fact, it is the means to secure self-reliance and self-esteem for a common person. The concept of improving financial literacy as a national project has been gradually evolving, given that a large number of stakeholders, including the central and state governments, financial regulators, financial institutions, civil society, educationists, and others are involved in spreading financial literacy, a broad national strategy is a prerequisite in ensuring that they work in tandem. I am happy to share that the government is talking with various financial sector regulators for formulating and implementing a national strategy for financial education, which I am sure will bring rich dividends to the country. Unfortunately, the activity of the market analysts and advice in India is ridden with conflict of interests, particularly when analysts and advisors are playing the dual role as an agent of the investors as well as the manufacturers of financial products, receiving payments perhaps from both sources, investor as well as the manufacturer. This raises the question, whose interests do they represent, the manufacturers or the investors? It is necessary to resolve or at least mitigate this conflict, especially in the case of the financial products, because of their two peculiar characteristics. Firstly, the products are intangible and conceptually more difficult to understand. Secondly, the payoffs are in the distant future and can be camouflaged by several factors external to the product. It is in this context that the market analysts and advisors occupy a key role, more so considering the low levels of the financial literacy and awareness in India. In short, while we innovate and introduce new financial products and wealth creation techniques to cater to diverse and evolving requirements, We also need to put investor interest in the forefront. If we lose the trust of the potential investors, the growth process would stall. I would therefore urge you all in the financial sector to take it as your mission to educate and advise the investors properly and ethically to help them make beneficial investment decisions. Government has been seeking your inputs for policy correctives and reforms. It has enabled us to move forward. We are now on to next generations of the financial sector reforms, which include, among other things, widening and deepening the Indian securities markets as part of concerted efforts to increase the participation of retail investors in the security market and to further the goal of the financial inclusion. I have announced the Rajiv Gandhi Equity Savings Schemes, RGESS, that ultimate objective of any financial inclusion mission is wealth creation so that the included can manage their finance, plan for future, and deal with the distress. I feel the time is right to motivate our educated upper middle class to climb from saving mode to wealth generation mode. It is for you all to help reach the ultimate investors and enable them to maximize their wealth. Government is committed to make India an investment-friendly destination and financial powerhouse of the globe. For that to become a reality, we need to work together. If India can build on its economic strength, it can be a source of stability for the world economy and a safe destination for restless global capital, which can help speed up our developmental process. India is in need of leaders and analysts who can apply their imagination to meet the requirements of this nation and its people. We need analysts who can simplify the labyrinth of finance and help investors make judicious decisions while strengthening the culture of accountability. I hope this awards function would be engaging as well as insightful for the leaders and those who aspire to become one in the coming days. Let it spark more quality financial markets research and analysis and pave the way for a greater degree of informed investment decision-making in the country. I extend my heartiest congratulations to all the award winners and wish you all the very best. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the patience.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your inspirational word. I now request both of you to stay back on stage as we begin the award ceremony. And Gitu, can we have the nominations for the first category of awards, please?
Let's start with the first category of awards. And the first category is Equities Fundamental, and nominations for the same are Swati Saxena, Religare Securities. Chatterjee Bhadra from Centrum Broking.
And the winner is Hemant Patel from Inam Securities. May I please request Hemant to come on stage to receive the award, please. Hemant, can we have you on stage, please? There he is. Give him a huge round of applause.